Music Multiverse listeners, welcome to Beyond Your Radio. That's right, it's time for new music album review Saturdays 2026, episode 22. As May closed out the releases with some interesting, challenging albums we're going to explore probably in June. We still got to get through what we've done prior. So, what do I do? Well, I call on damn Deb Armitage Hicks Maloney. I coerce her into listening to Anything Goes. And this week's no exception. If you're new, this is an extension of the article section of beyondyourradio.com, where I carefully and feverishly and wacky this time write about these three albums behind me. Yes, I sub-reference. Yes, I soliloquy. Yes, I think I'm clever. It doesn't work. But hey, if you like to read, go ahead. Knock yourself out. There's links there to everything, as well as a Keep It Dark, because one of these bands gotta keep it dark mention.
Mhm.
So what else do we got? We when we do this video thing, we say, hey, why not? If they're gonna tune in for the video, let's give them three more. So if you go to the article section, you get ripped off because you only get three. If you come here, you get six. Or sometimes five, depending on how complicated the albums are or how tired we are. So, without further ado, we'll bang on. There's no such thing as being beyond your past greatness. No such thing. We're going to talk about that today. The gentleman at the axe here proved not only that he's worthy of recording, that he can crush it big time. And even in the midst of some legends that probably grew up on him, he says, I shine more than you do, and I'll carry the light. It's a light bulb moment for sure, and he carries it off with guitar greatness, but also songwriting and exploration that, at the end of the day, is worthy of as many listens as you can give it. I don't know what it's like to have a stepmother, but this one from Australia probably comes crashing in on any family struggle with a hidden secret that you might want to get in your ear among the pomp, punk, and accessible fun throwdown this record truly is. I could go on, but I'll save it for the review, right? Yeah. Finally, I had a change of plans, which might surprise you, coming from a certain area of curmudgeon most of you either love or hate about me. It's not my weapon of choice, but I find out whether they can actually wield it willfully. Subjectivity is mandatory, my friends, so let's see where our ears take us this week. To Peter Frampton, if you don't know who he is, you should probably start over again. This is Carry the Light. He has been in the music industry over 60 years. Probably an 18, 19-year-old prodigy from what I gather, but we'll get to that. I could have started this article with whether or not he's going to have to eat humble pie, but because, hey, it's been 15 years since there's been a record.
Yep.
What you won't hear coming or expect, honestly, is how damn fine this record is for the classic rock elder statesman's career. This is a very well put together album. It allows him to kind of showcase his signature work, how he plays the guitar, but also let him into some very different places on a solitary album and still make it pretty much connected, and not just one guitar genre, which is truly what I kind of love about Frampton's love of music. He's not one-dimensional in any way, shape, or form, nor does he want to be. Obviously, that's a problem for some people, but this is not dialing it in. He didn't go, well, okay, make me sound good. No, I don't think so. This is a very fair attempt to bring his skillful, aged perspective into today's audio and songwriting expression by using the student of the past. That's right, his son. And he named his son Julian, too. That's a Lennon thing. At least that's how I heard it. Oh, come on. You knew I was going to do that. All punning aside, Frampton comes to the audio here with all kinds of fresh licks, a sturdy commitment to the stories, a finger pointing memories too, with all kinds of fresh ideas of strong socio-political observations and things he does, and the rest is left to clever, accessible musicianship over and over again until the end. It's not a long album.
Mm-mm.
I love how it starts off, giving a little nod to the ancient perspective. Now
Yeah.
he's not Sioux Indian, but by
No.
God, he what it truly means to be an elder, and he's going to carry the light, and that's the perfect track and way to start. What's even better about it is that it comes without a single sacrifice of Frampton's guitar gifts. There's trinkets abound without a like whether it's a hard rock driven song or whether it's a softer kind of or folkier as or even better yet when it's jazz, and that's Mr. Bill Evans joining in. Now there are tons of guests on this record,
Yeah.
well, tons. Good, really good guests. They all make their contributions, but I believe it's Bill Evans that makes the longer impression and lingers the listener. Yes, that will probably be the case for Frampton classic rock fans. That'll go, well, that's boring, boring. You're wrong.
Can you hear me now? Light runs through the crowd. We can shine so bright together. Alone we stand no chance. Deep inside this dance, it's every day.
Okay. I don't know where you come from. You just that basic beat that amoeba can keep time to. Yeah, go ahead. Knock yourself out. Get your Skinner on. But that's not saying that the collaborative guitar meshing with Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine and Audio Slave on Lines at the Gate isn't the catchiest and coolest moment of the record. And then, of course, you could even go to the point where you're thinking, oh, damn, this guy was definitely influenced by Frampton Comes Alive. Well, yeah, of course he was. Then there's Islamorada. Her is playing guitar. He's playing guitar, and neither of them say a word, and it's beautiful. That's magic. That's the art of control. Hopefully you're still with me. No?
Mhm.
I sub-reference a lot, but that's actually one of his albums. Damn.
Well, Peter Frampton was probably one of my first real teenage crushes. I mean, my first crush was like Davy Jones, but I was only like 5. Okay, so I didn't know what I was crushing on. But Peter
Pirates of
Frampton.
the Caribbean?
No, not that Davy Jones. Um, Peter taught himself how to play a string instrument on his grandma's banjolele.
Banjolele?
Banjo and a ukulele. That's all I can kind of figure out, but that's interesting. When he was a preteen, he used to take his lunch breaks at school with David Bowie. Okay, that's incredibly cool. He was a teen idol at the age of 16. And like I said, when I was 16, he was my teen idol. He was no longer a teen by then. He was probably 27, 28. I believe he was born about 12 years before me. And he's the quintessential talk box guru. You never heard that sound. And that was his signature sound. You knew that Frampton.
I don't think that's on this record. I thought maybe. Oh.
No,
I would have liked it a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
I think so. Just a little throwback thing there. But here's my fun piece of trivia. Okay.
Okay.
So he owned a 54 Gibson Les Paul Custom that was on the cover of Frampton Comes Alive. Okay. It was presumed destroyed in a cargo plane crash in Venezuela, but it survived and tracked down and returned to him in 2011, 31 years later.
Wow.
That's cool. That's some kind of divine intervention, I think. And I didn't get the whole story. It didn't really tell me who tracked it down, how it was tracked down, but
we got Navy SEALs going into Venezuela, and they're going to take out, douchebag, and they go, wait, you know what? Is that a Gibson guitar? Wait a minute, is that the one from? Oh my God, this is Don't say a word. It's Three Kings Part 2.
Like taking all the
Where's George
artwork
Clooney
out
when you
from
need?
the Nazis. Um, but this album, I did love the collaborations. Sometimes I think that they're overdone on some albums
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you're just throwing people in there because you need something to shore up whatever you've got going, and you went, this isn't going to be enough, so let's invite so and so to play on this song. But yeah, the one that I did like, Lions at the Gate. I mean, I find that interesting that Tom Morello's on a Peter Frampton album, but of course he is. Um, I liked Buried Treasure. That was a tribute to Petty, and there was some
Yeah.
clever sub references to song titles, and then you could catch the keyboard kind of feeling like a heartbreaker thing. So that was fun.
Ben
Um,
Montench, obviously, is what we're talking about, just in case
yep,
anybody's following.
yep. And I really liked the one with, what was the name of it? I'm sorry, Al. The bluesy one with Graham Nash.
Yeah, Graham Nash singing
Yes,
vocal.
yes, I thought that was great. But you did mention Isla Morada. It was magical. You said it was magical. It was very beautiful. And I did make a note about I love how you said the elder analogy, because that first song, when it opened up, it caught me off guard, and I'm going, I think I have the wrong album.
Yes.
But it
Yeah.
quickly moved away from that and went into what the album was going to become. And one other interesting fact, because I always try to say who people have been influenced by, but they're just the standard ones, other than some Belgian gypsy jazz guitarist he listened to when he was a little kid, and I don't think he even knows his name. But
He
sometimes
had
when
no name. He was the player with no name,
okay,
just
there
like
you
Clint Eastwood. And yeah.
So Peter, I mean, this was very nostalgic for me, but it wasn't been there, done that. I felt that it was interesting. It was nostalgic a little bit. It was well done. It was beautiful, and he can still he can still sing. And I like when these guys know their limitations and
Mhm.
kind of bring it down a notch, like Robert Plant, and you know, don't try to be who you were in that sense. Your vocal cords aren't going to be the same at 76 as they were at 16.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good going.
Fans, followers, if they have a name, I would think they wouldn't, because they're too cool and subdued for that. Um, should have time to digest this. I honestly,
Mhm.
it's not only a really good guitar record, but lyrical quality, delivery of Frampton utilizes, kind of works seamlessly as the real glue of the album, really. And it takes some of the heat off those incredible fingers. I think you can't, while
Mhm.
out. So don't fret. It comes back, especially in Tinderbox, and he's still keeping Bill Evans, who appears the most on the record. It's
Mhm.
just this is not epic, and it doesn't need to be. There's great statements in the music, but also in the art of the elders. And at the end of the day, it's Peter Frampton, rock and roll Hall of Famer, very much alive. And apparently, the education he's passing on to his son Julian in some fantastic ways.
Mhm.
Just in when you were name dropping, um, it was actually Bill Wyman who of the Stones who made him part of the Herd, maybe, or produced the Herd, or was in. I just know Wyman was essential in the whole thing. So
All
if you
right.
got Wyman and you're, singing your praises, could
Yeah.
you imagine if it was Frampton that was, somehow he became a Rolling Stone?
Wow.
Oof. All right. He would have been really, really young.
Yeah.
Okay. Stepmother, Absurdus Manifestus. I like a quirky album title as much as the next guy, but this one, it just had me curious. First off, Stepmother. Shouldn't that be a soloist name,
Mhm.
not a band? I mean, Sting, Prince, Jewel, Dido, her. Oh, come on. You knew I was going to do that. They were already taken, so why not step up to the microphone? Solo guitarist, age 49, trying to be Blondie. Oh, come on, you knew I was going there too. and hit us with your best shot. Oh, wait, that's just Pat. In all honesty, I'm finding it hard to go anywhere from here at this moment because, in all honesty, this is a record that I had no idea what was going to happen, and that cover ain't telling me shit either. I had a moment of like snake gaze. I don't know what, and then all of a sudden, it's basically straight to your balls, proto punk, and rock getting away with a name like Stepmother. Well, I'll leave the story to that, maybe to Damn. But needless to say, one of the members had been dying to use that name and had been in every band where they've said, nope, in way are we naming our band Stepmother. Finally, he got it. In all honesty, there's nothing about this band I would veto either, to be honest with you. Absurdus Manifestus is a festus of freaking fantastic fucking free roll rock raw power that all boys checking out Stepmother. Ooh, that came out wrong. Damn.
Yeah, it sounds like something on Pornhub. Oh my God. Um, yeah, I love this album. This was the kind of punk that I gravitated to when punk first came out. Their influences are, the Stooges and the Sex Pistols, but also Black Sabbath. And you can feel that this punk isn't just punk. It's not just
No.
angry, even though somebody's angry at a stepmother somewhere, somehow. And that name, I don't know the whole story other than he wanted to use this name because it just kind of gave this cold, uninviting, sinister domestic tension feel that everybody who has a stepmother can feel. And maybe that's where those snakes, sometimes you're maybe a 9-year old and your dad gets remarried and you go over there and you always feel like there's some kind of
Slithering going on?
yeah, and trying to undermine your nice mom at home, and she's saying some kind of weird things about your mom and trying to get your mind turned against your
Well, what if
mom.
your mom is Susan Sarandon? Then I guess it's okay. What? Oh,
No? But it's interesting that the Graham Clyde, he's the lead, right?
this guy is the reason this is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. He was turned on to music by Neil Young at the age of 12, and man, did he go down a different path. But I'm
Yes.
glad.
Yeah, Neil doesn't do punk.
No,
It's the
he
only thing he
doesn't.
probably doesn't do.
No, yeah, exactly.
Think about the future, start on the face. This is journalistic, ain't nothing's changed. We'll never figure it out, so don't even try. There really ain't no point in even asking why. Everyone just play along, same old story, same old song, alright.
But as far as this album itself, some of the songs that really stood out to me was I liked New World and Gimme Mine. Those were hyperactive. Those were the punk that you're familiar with. But when you throw in a guitar that is reminiscent of AC/DC or something, like you're going, "Oh my gosh, what's happening?" But it makes it so nostalgic punk, but with a twist. It's like, okay, it's punk for today. Um,
Or it's punk that needs to be for today. That's my position, right?
okay,
Don't give me that
well,
same old, same old. I
yeah,
can,
yeah,
I'll get to that too, because yeah, that's for sure.
okay. Beast and Man. That was more pop musically, but it still had the punk vocal to it. So I liked kind of how these different sounds still blended with the punk vocals. And what's new? I could hear Cheap Trick in that one.
Yeah, yeah, I wanted to
Feel
mention that.
and I think that that's interesting too. Um, but I really, the name of the album and the name of the band, I was a little afraid at first. But this was a great one, right up my alley. So much
Rightfully so to be scared. That's I try. I was not actually trying to trick you like last week with Worm Stew.
fun.
Um, so this Melbourne band is new to me. And this is their sophomore record. I
Yeah.
did not hear their debut, which is Planet Brutalicon. Why not, right?
Yeah.
It came out in 2023, but I'll tell you right now, I can't tell you, I can't reference how far they've come in 2-3 years. But I'm gonna go back because I was smitten. But they're laying down bar punk like this, man. This is just bar punk to me. Um,
Yeah.
I'm immediately reminded of the third and fourth records of the Headstones from Canada. Lifted a punk torch more over the hard rock riff, stiff punk riff and drop that they had in the beginning, which for me, those first two records are, even the third, are sacrilege. They're just, it was like punk Metallica style in a way.
Yeah.
But what is Stepmother here, they drifted that they never drifted away from that. Maybe I'm thinking, right? They're heading straight into the flame. It sounds like, and acts like the vocalist delivers it like Hugh Dillon of the Headstones. Even who were the other people I was thinking of during this? To just, but it's that kind of like, if you're going to do this kind of punk, it's got to slap you in the face or kick you in the groin for it to work. For me, anyway. And I like it repeatedly with variety and vigor. They already let me know exactly what kind of slap, punk, kick, and elbows I was coming into with titles alone. When you look at them, you can read them in the article section if you want. But from Dead Meat to Sick Thoughts, yeah, I'm going to get what's coming to me. But there's a secret surprise hidden in all of this, an audio pleasure and familiarity. Stepmother's grip is fierce, and she likes a good choking too. That probably came out wrong too. Let's talk leaving the punk chord structure where it is. I don't want to argue it, as it's had its place. It continues to be. It's a genre. All genres kind of repeat themselves to some degree, or have something that the arrangements but these go into dangle and they hook, and man, I hear it. However, it's the guitarist and singer here. He's a rocker.
Yeah.
And he knows how to take a chord and change it. And he is the reason my ass kicking is happening. He's leaving audio tattoos all over me. He's got the chops, he's got the licks, and even the vocals on this man. They go from like a norm of average nihilistic punk to something else. And it's necessary. It's a necessity. If you're planning to make a statement above what's already prior happened, you have to. Don't get me wrong, the structure has to be there. I'm good with that. You got to have a backbone. The punk from Stepmother kind of spins you a bit. Again, that colorful ink, tattoo, or what did I call it? Little nuances that you didn't hear coming. It's sort of like you've been branded before you realize it's happened. I know you're hooked on your Stepmother now. Yeah, you are. Okay. Oh, come on. You know I was going to say that. If your dad catches you listening to this, you're dead. Okay. Oh, you knew I was going to do that too. This is a band that's capable of going on a heater. All right. They're on TP Records, and they've drove me in with Sacramonte, who I saw in Buffalo recently. Well, they opened for Elder. They brought us Earthless, Truck Fighters, Graveyard. Yeah, Keep It Dark, baby. We did Graveyard. And the Grateful Dude even listened to that. So they're infatuated. If they're infatuated with Stepmother, too, hell, they even calmly and coolly abuse a Ted Nugent song at the end. All right? A man who's probably had a few stepmothers. Okay, I'm just going to stop. I guess we're all just going to have to share Australia's Stepmother. I hope that's okay. All right. So Deb is stunned
I am.
that there is a album here on the top three. It's not the top three. It's just the three I write about. Doesn't mean I'm going to write nicely.
True.
49 Winchester, Change of Plans. This is not my weapon of choice. I'm not sure if I would even have one in my house as a defensive weapon. Maybe for relic, maybe hanging on the shelf. Maybe, well, here we are arriving at a very soulful, Appalachian, borderline, outlaw, darkened country from Virginia. From the acclaimed riffists known as, it's not riffists. It's rifleists, right? They wouldn't be riffists. They'd be rifleists. 49 Winchester. In 2024, they had a release called Leavin' the Holler. Leavin' the Holler, which I reviewed. Stoner country vibe and swagger that kind of led me to them. It's a 6-piece band. I thought they'd be 6-shooter band, but okay. Yeah. Change of Plan definitely picks up on the vibe, control, and the near stonerized and big sounding country that kept me interested all the way. I also love that this band is not afraid to give a pure, straight guzzle of soul-filled vocal moonshine, all right, down your gullet. And what's amazing about it is that it starts with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yep.
Yes, the third track is Changes, and it ain't that kind of changes. It holds you marvelously if you're uncertain. It kind of helps you understand the breadth of opportunity this 49 relic-like band has to that they can breach any genre, not only deliver but entertain tremendously in a genre that I never feel comfortable in. Usually, I feel like I'm in one of those game shows where spiders and shit are dropped on you. I just can't. Oh, get it off me, right? I can't. Oh my God, is that a Chevy truck on me? Got it off. Are those my boots? Oh, whatever. I'm going to make a strange comparison though to things so far from country and Virginia, and the placement of this band and record. But before I do, let's have a real conversation. Damn.
All right. Well, a lot of references to guns, 6-shooters and such, but 49 Winchester is actually one of the guy's home addresses that was his road that he grew up on. Who
They
would have
couldn't
known
use
that,
Cedarwood
right?
Road because that was already taken by you two.
They were all high school buddies, I guess. And I guess what's the main guy's name? I don't have it written down. Do you remember? Well, he had the dream of being a punk rocker. Okay, so that's crazy. They all took public speaking to avoid stage fright because they were just going to, play in their garage, I guess. And somebody said, you need to get out there. You got to share your wares with people. You would think from the name of the band and where they are from that the usual suspects of, Hank Williams and Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings. However, I think when you mentioned breaching into this other realm of where they're pulling these other kind of songs out of them, like Changes, and doing this amazing original arrangement of a Black Sabbath, one of their favorite bands was Slipknot. Okay. So that kind of, they're going, okay, they're not going to just be the Appalachian country guys drinking the moonshine, right? Appalachian Blue Collar, though, still isn't. You can hear it. I mean, you got The Window. That was Appalachian feel to me. Country rock, Southern rock, and the heavy Chevy. That song, but Changes was the one that did it for me. When Changes came on, I went, I know every word of the song, but I can't figure out who sang this because I had
to look it up.
I had to because
wow.
I never
Okay.
would have guessed it was Ozzy Osbourne's song because it was so different yet true to what it was also. Right. So, I really like this, and I am very surprised at you placing it in the 3 of the first 3 today. And I'm glad you did because it's really interesting and comforting, I thought, too.
Prior album was too.
Okay.
I'm going to liken this band to the Carolina Hurricanes of the NHL.
Oh.
Or any team that suddenly finds themselves at the precipice of clarity and a self-confidence that's like a constant shot of adrenaline. All around me, the song doesn't happen for bands that lack confidence.
Got a lump inside my throat, bells ringing in my ears. Never
thought I'd see the day that we'd be standing here. Make a promise if you make one too. Babe, we got damn big plans. Little feet running down the hall. We're gonna sound like an angel band. And I wanna move through you like the wind through the trees. And I wanna feel your loving all around me.
Or that are locked in the influences of sounds that are constantly around them. And Slipknot is, wow, okay. One does not make the Stanley Cup Finals without an unbelievable assurance of themselves and the group around them, right down to the minutest individuals associated with the organization. So sure, Raleigh is not a mecca of hockey. They want to say they are, but that's bullshit. They immediately they're come on, it's a race car, zoom zoom zoom. But it's belief, it's moments, it's absolutely bolstered confidence. The achievement feels like it's more than destiny. It feels like it's guaranteed. Well, we all know that nothing is guaranteed. One misstep or unfortunate moment, and it's all over again. And it can be in that song back to an uncertain level again, where you're considering where they are. They're at the edge. So 49 Winchester, while I say Carolina, where they're at right now really puts me in more mind of the Montreal Canadiens in actuality. They're at the edge. They found that confidence. There's an assured way of doing things, and they made so much use of it. They had a miracle here and a miracle there in this. That changes song. That's a Hail Mary pass. That's thank God there's no 2-line passes in hockey anymore. But that could have went totally wrong. That worked. Game 7 overtime, they did that. Well, it doesn't mean this, but what happens is it doesn't always happen. They're not at the precipice already. They're getting there. And this album is another wonderful step in that. And they're seeing just how clever they can be, how genre bending they can be, and how talented they could be, and are. In fact, a lot of it was real eye-opening for me, a super building block of talent, desire, spirit that got them to that edge. 49 Winchester, Change of Plans is just that, and maybe a bit more as I listen to it. This album holds some absolutely well done work. It showcases a band's talent and the camaraderie that has to happen in this kind of band. And if you're going to make a trip to greatness, and for me to be on board, that's like having that weapon in the hands of Quigley. Perhaps there's room for a 49 Winchester in my collection after all. Quigley Down Under. God damn it, people. Tom Selleck. Never mind.
I don't know. There's too much information that you spew at me in an hour.
It's not like we're doing this in the morning. We could be. All right, the extras. We did do 3. We snuckered it in there. I didn't look up pronunciation, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I think it's Sine. Sine. The name of the album is La Mordre. And La Mordre is creativity. It's not a darkened absolute or anything of that nature, so don't take it that way. And when I looked it up, it's somehow what it meant, but it's Rona Rougeheart.
Yeah.
And she's been bouncing around, doing her thing, kind of has this industrial chillism to her, but now she's decided as a band name. This is evocative musicianship and blending through dance beats and sub bass and maybe some industrial elements. The album kind of pulsates, but it's that seductive industrial chill. but it's on a lower intensified. You know, you're not getting your Skinny Puppy. You're not getting your I don't know, maybe shades of Depeche Mode with the horniness of Lords of Acid. Um, there's a gothic moral dilemma at work here, and they do it pretty well. It's like having hot wax being. Well, how the hell would I know? Damn.
Well, I looked up the name, and none of what the reasoning was made any sense, other that I did learn how to pronounce it as sign. Okay.
That's not
So I
okay.
don't
Good.
have anything else to say because it was lost on me. Yeah, she started out as a live drummer and moved to a front woman. So like I'm not surprised that there's some electronica stuff going on in here. She's a drummer by trade. They kind of gravitate towards that sometimes. You mentioned a Depeche Mode sound a little bit. That's one of her influences, along with Nine Inch Nails. Interesting. She loves high fashion, cinema, and the runway culture. So she likes to kind of be flamboyant on stage. I guess once you see her, you'll understand why.
All signs point to high fashion.
Yes, there you go. Very good. Maybe that's what it means. But there were some songs I liked and some that were just too much electronica for me. I that's not my cup of tea really. Blood and Wine was a little too much of the same thing for me. It dragged on, but I liked Immortal Disco. It was a little darker. It wasn't the head banging, monotony of just feeling like you dropped some ecstasy and you're at a rave. It wasn't like that. The one that I did like was kind of a movie track feel, eerie. It was paralyzed, like not paralyzed, but you're in peril.
Mhm.
That was a cool song. Trauma Bondage, that was all right too. But for me, obviously very talented, interesting human being, I would presume. But the first three albums really, like when you compare that, it was kind of maybe a letdown for the week.
I
That's all.
get it. So Goddess has this like an underbelly, like a
Yeah,
menacing
yeah, yeah,
dark lullaby like delivery in this. And
yeah.
sometimes that's evocative, it's seductive, it's but you know what gets me is that combination gets me in the gothic club where leather bondage and the safe word is does your minky bite? Next up is Gun Outfit. Why we had a 49 Winchester. Let's go to Gun Outfit. This is the Process and Reality shoegaze. Let's try a folk philosophical approach, I guess. Holy shit. I thought we were going spaghetti western when I saw the cover.
You know,
But no, we're what this is like you're trying to get to Mazzy Star, but you want to be a pain in the ass about it. It's bad sounding drums that sound very tinty or no, wet.
yeah.
Regrets and teach yourself to fall asleep. What calls for completion would be satisfied with self-defeat. Giving and gaps, intention and maps, difference between repeats. What use is illusion when experience is obsolete?
I mean,
Yeah.
did they record this at a splash park? An album I need to read a book to because that's what it's based on. I'm okay with that, but right now this is not making me give two wampin booty ass to watch to read any of that. I don't know why. I like Mazzy Star. I like this dual vocal approach thing didn't help me either. Poop. Damn.
Well, Gun Outfit, the name came from, they felt like they were a hired band of gunslingers. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Um, they really didn't like their influences are desert rock, post punk. That's what they
Really?
say. But they didn't really list specific, artists that influenced them. But one interesting fact, they did a double album. It was recorded in California during a forest fire that burned less than 10 miles away, casting an eerie, literal smoke over their songs. Now, you just said wet.
Maybe they did record. Maybe this was after where they were putting out the fire.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I kind of felt like like I was going through like I was in quicksand or something. Like
We're-
I'm trying to get it to go forward a little
And
bit.
it's a long album.
It's a long album. Um, some of the songs like Whiplash and I think it was Whiplash and So Easy to Love. That felt like Twin Peaks was going on, and I was watching some crazy, weird little midget dance around in the smoke. That's
Yeah.
the
Well,
feel I feel I got
okay.
from that.
I would have got that in the other band, but okay.
So, um, and there were parts
That would
of
have been
it
a
that
well-dressed midget.
yeah, well dressed midget, yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get okay. Yeah, probably gonna have to kill midget
Oh,
on this. I don't even know,
gosh.
but I'm gonna get they're
No,
gonna get
pardon.
censored, right? Oh man,
No, I'm so
whatever.
sorry. I'm not politically correct.
I'm Polish,
Um,
correct?
but what I found odd with this album, and I couldn't put my finger on it for a while, and then as I just happened to be doing something else and like half listening, I felt like I was going to hear the Sultan of Swing from,
Oh,
yeah, it was weird. I go, what, what's happening here? I just felt like they don't have cohesiveness in what they're doing, I guess. Like
yeah, I
the
didn't.
flow, we talk about flow between songs. Yes, it was very long and it wasn't enough to hold my interest. So, it's all right.
Yeah, I, I'm trying to remember the range of it if it had any really big oscillation, but I don't rem.
No,
No, nothing stood out, and I just and you're gonna be wispy. Better have something else with it.
yeah,
And both of them were almost wispy. So
yeah.
yeah, not tinty. Sorry, that was not the word I was looking for. Yeah, wet. Psh, psh.
Yeah.
Phil Collins is, had to send him a letter. Please stop drumming. Okay, so Bruce Sword and Ghosts in the Park is the name of the record.
Mhm.
So he is the chief songwriter and deliverer of Pineapple Thief, right?
Oh, oh yeah, pineapple thief.
So expect a little melon in your collie. This is Melancholy Prague, but you might not recognize Prague in this. To me, there's not heavy, dense keyboarding going on. It's more of an understated, soft approach to memory and how far you are right now, and um, what you're feeling, and it's an emotional listen. The music doesn't stray too far to any excitable level that's progressively manifestive. Um, Pineapple Thief, I'm not quite. I there are some differences. Pineapple Thief is a little bit more I just electronic or heaviness to it. This is a little bit more subdued. Um, when I say heaviness, I'm not talking about riffs and guitar and stuff. Just a heavier groove to it. This does not have that groove, at least in my observation. This is my first Bruce Seward solo record, and I know there's been others, but it seems to be an interesting, very good delivery. There's no offensive moments where his voice is cracked, can't hit a note or doesn't feel like it's something, but he can sing. And there's a reason why he's Porcupine Thief is where it's at. But damn, did you know? Well, obviously you just said, oh, so you didn't.
No, I didn't. Um, he's obsessed with football, but I'm assuming that's soccer. Isn't he from Germany? Are they German? Is he
Mm,
German?
I forgot where.
I thought I read that he was with his last name. I either thought he was German or Scandinavian with the way his last name is spelled. But as a child, he was basically musically illiterate and just was listening to things like Madonna. But when he became a teenager, he kind of moved towards the Floyd, yes, Supertramp. So maybe, that's where his prog background comes into. But, he also loved Alan Parsons Project, Zeppelin, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I didn't feel really the prog on this album, other than like the title track is about 13 minutes long. So maybe that's the only likeness to prog is the length of a song there. But that song was good. There were a lot of guitar layering that kind of faded out. You never got that prog like intense building of feverishness that you would get with keyboards and such. I liked Meet Me on the Downs. That was a very sad song about family and mortality, and it was a good listen. And a little bit of country in Pillars. I could feel some country swagger in there.
He likes the acoustic guitar. There's no question.
Okay, so that.
What would you have her do? Sit on a pillar for 37 years, perhaps 38. What would you have her do? Just to earn your life. And oh, this house is not in order.
Yeah, and that was lovely. And I liked there was some synth going on layered into or looping into Days of Wrath or Day of Wrath. I like that song too. But definitely interesting and not anything that I would have expected from somebody that is a prog guy.
So he was born in Germany, yes, but he
Okay.
lived most in somewhere in England. Why can't I think of the place?
Okay, so it's still soccer, not football.
Yeah.
Tops. Okay.
Pillars is actually has a it's a Christian reference, I think, in there. So yeah.
In fact,
Yeah, it's a good record. I don't know if it'll, move the prog needle for anybody, and gather any momentum other than the people that know him for Pineapple Thief. But yeah, it's a good record. It has there's no mistakes. It's flawless in its production and how it's put together. You can kind of think of like a maybe what's his name, Steve Hackett kind of presentation.
okay,
If you're going to
yeah,
put it
I
in
think
a
so.
possible placement,
I
that would
feel
be
you.
that would be my comparison.
I
to some
like it.
degree. All right. Well, obviously, I'm gonna thank Dan for joining me once again. We got one more week together, then she'll be off a week, and next week, it's I don't know. There's something about cola and legacy pilots. So we're gonna check that out, and that becomes a double thing. So that's a volume 1 and 2. So that's gonna put us. It's 6 albums, but technically it's 5. But we're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, yeah, YouTube, of course. Again, these are not on TikTok because they're too long. Articles, videos, podcasts, all about music, albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching and happy listening.
Bye.